How's it going, YouTube? Zach here for TeamDarkBeginning, and I'm here with my Lightsworn deck profile. It's been a long time coming, but I finally basically have the deck finished, minus one of my extra deck cards. But I'm just going to go ahead and get right into it. I run triple JD. I don't run the Lackluster Soldier variant, because I find it to be somewhat inconsistent. 2 Lila. It is a very kind of trap and spell heavy format, and a lot of people cite in Macrocosmos and Dimensional Fissure against me, and when I can't draw in my MSTs or my Heavy Storm, she saves me. Erin, Lightsworn Monk, I really like how she can just stop a couple decks. Like, decks that need the setup that they need when they set their monsters, and this just gets rid of it. So, I like how that works. 2 Wolf, I'm only running 2 because sometimes 3 can be a little more than inconsistent, and 2 because it's just a good card to have now that X-Easing is out. Garrosh, I only run 1. I believe only 1 is really necessary. Lumina, if I could run more than 1, oh god, I would. Jane, I only run 1, but I really like Jane because in this format she really gets rid of Thunder King and Steel Swarm Roach, which can be a massive problem for this deck. Celestia, goes without saying, does basically the exact same thing. You tribute 1 Lightsworn to destroy 2 cards your opponent controls. That really helps because since it is a tribute summon, they're not going to negate it with like Roach. They can't negate it with Thunder King, and it gets around a lot of plays. 1 Raikou. Raikou's good because, I mean, you get that extra 3 mils from your flipping, you get to destroy something. I only like the 1 though because I think more than 1 is just inconsistent. I do run the Plant Engine, which is 1 Dandy, 1 Glow Up, and 1 Spore. I don't run Lone Fire because I think it's a waste of a normal summon, but with just these 3 I can make all the plays I really need to. Even I have the possibility of going into shooting Quasar if I had one. Plague Spreader, goes without saying, you mill it and then you can special summon it later. Necro Gardener, mill it, save your butt later. That's it for the monsters. I only run, I believe it's 19 monsters. Triple Solar Recharge, the lifeblood of this deck. It's the only way to keep the consistency. 2 MST, 3 is too much, 1 is not enough, 2 is a good medium. Charge, the Rhoda for the deck. Foolish Burial, get your Dandy in the grave, get your 2 tokens, get your Glow Up in the grave, or special your Wolf. It's just a great card to have in this deck. Reborn, Heavy, since it is unbanned and it is such a spell trap heavy lineup. Monster Reincarn for when you do mill your Judgment Dragons, or say you want to get your Lumina back. 1 for 1, the best possible combo with this is have Spore in the grave already, or have Glow Up in the grave already, and you send Dandelion to the grave, get your 2 tokens, and special summon either Spore or Glow Up Bulb. And it gets you at least 2 synchros. Mind Control, just fantastic in this format. Grab your opponent's monster, synchro with it or Xyz with it. I mean, you can go into your 3 ranks or your 4 ranks depending on the deck that you're going against, or you might even be able to synchro with your opponent's monster. Hand Destruction, this is kind of a tech card. I do find that I have consistency problems with this deck. This is one of my ways I try to fix it. That, and also it gets dead wolves, it gets dead Plague Spreader and Necro Gardener out of the hand, it gets Dandelion out of the hand and into the grave, so you get your tokens out, and then you get to draw 2 more cards. So there's a lot of pluses with that card. I actually do run a Rhoda. Since I do have Jane, Necro Gardener, and Erin and Garrosh as targets, I've basically never had a problem where I didn't have a searchable card with this. And it helps, like, if you got Solar Recharge in hand and no Lightsworns, you can just Rhoda for 1 of them. Magical Mallet, same thing. Sometimes I'll get hands where I don't have the Lightsworns I need for my Solar Recharges, so that helps. 1 Day of Peace. I do believe this deck needs a lot of setup. So 1 Day of Peace gives you that extra turn and that extra draw that you possibly need to save you. That's it for the spells. I run a Divine Wrath, a lot of effects in this format, and like with earlier before, I can get rid of dead wolves, necro, etc. It really does help, like against card queries, against dragon decks, against some synchro decks. This is my personal tech, Needlebug Nest. It's a common from the Duelist Genesis. Its effect is you send the top 5 cards of your deck to the grave. This can be one of the most handy cards in my deck. If I'll have Judgment Dragon in hand, I can activate this, and usually I'll have JD by the end of that, because it mills exactly what I need. I only run one Solemn Warning. It is, like I said, a very heavy spell and trap format, which is why everybody runs usually more than 2 MST. I feel it's kind of pointless to run that many traps if you know your opponent's just going to get rid of them. Dark Bribe. Beckoning Light, I like this a lot better than some other cards, just because I can drop a whole handful of Lightsworns, add back an entire hand of JD, depending on what I've done. One Call of the Haunted, it just helps. And then the extra deck. I only have 2 XCs. I have 1 Leviathan Dragon. I will probably take this out for a Leviair if I get one, but either way, it's a good 3-rank to have. Steel Storm Roach, really great in this format because you stop a lot of the synchro deck plays. Formula Synchron, I basically have to have this when using Dandy and when using Spore and Glow Up because it lets me get extra plays, and like I said, once Shooting Quasar comes out, I can actually make that. Armory Arm, sometimes it's good to bolster up JD. I mean, even that or any of your synchros, really. But I've got Magical Android, just one of my generic 5 stars. I'd probably take it out for Catastor if I had it at the moment, but it's being lent out. Hyper Librarian, I synchro a lot, therefore making lots of plays. Brio, on top of it just being a good card, it helps me get stuff in the grave that needs to be. Iron Chain, I'm told it's bad in this format, but I don't necessarily care. It's just a decent 6-star to have. Black Rose, Ancient Fairy, decent against agents, decent against Dark Worlds, and that occasional Dragoonity deck you see. Scrap Dragon, just handy in all instances. It's got more attack points than Stardust, so you can just run it over. Stardust Dragon, just universally helpful. Thought Ruler, sometimes I like to go for him when my life points are looking a bit low, and I know my opponent uses Beat Stick monsters, and I can just gain it back. Mistworm, hate this card to be perfectly honest, but I'd rather have Trishula. When I get one, this thing's going out for it. And Shooting Star Dragon. I can actually go for this card, so when I am able to, I do, because A, it's funny, and B, for some reason people have problems getting over 3,300 beaters. So, but anyways, that's the deck. If you have any suggestions, or if you'd like to make any comments, go ahead and post it down in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, like, favorite, maybe? I don't know. It's up to you. But, thanks for watching. Zach signing off.